He had everything: money, power, fame. But every night, a woman's voice whispered his name. A voice he couldn't remember yet couldn't forget. When a single photograph unravels a buried past, he discovers the truth his family tried to hide, the wife he once loved and lost. This is the story of a billionaire haunted by memories of a love the world erased. The billionaire's forgotten wife. Hey family, welcome to True Life Stories. Please subscribe and give this video a like. It truly means the world to us. Don't forget to share it with your friends and loved ones, and turn on post notifications so you never miss a new upload. Thank you so much for the support. Now, sit back, relax, and let's dive into today's story. The night was restless. The city lights blurred through heavy rain, painting golden streaks across the wet roads. Thunder roared in the distance like an angry god, and lightning flashed against the dark sky. Ethan Blake gripped the steering wheel tightly, his jaw hard with anger. His expensive black car sliced through the storm, the wipers fighting to keep his view clear. His thoughts were louder than the thunder. His mother's words still echoed in his mind. "She's not one of us, Ethan. That girl will drag your name through the mud." "She's my wife," Ethan had said through clenched teeth. "A wife?" His mother scoffed. "You married a maid in secret? How could you shame this family like that?" He had walked out before she could say more. He couldn't stand hearing another insult about Maya. She was everything he ever wanted: warm, humble, and pure, the opposite of the cold, proud world he came from. But now, as the rain poured harder, regret began to creep in. Maybe he shouldn't have left Maya waiting for him tonight. She had called him earlier, her voice soft but sad. "Ethan, please come home early. We need to talk." "I will," he had promised, though his voice sounded tired. "I just need to handle something first." He was going home now, to tell her he didn't care about money or family opinions anymore. He was ready to choose her completely. He reached for his phone on the seat beside him, trying to call her. The screen glowed Maya red heart, but before he could press the button, a blinding white light flashed in front of him. A truck swerved out of nowhere. Ethan slammed the brakes, but it was too late. A loud crash tore through the night, metal twisting, glass shattering, tires screeching. Then silence. By morning, the news spread across every TV screen and social feed. Young billionaire Ethan Blake in critical condition after car crash. Maya dropped the cup she was holding when she saw the headline. Hot tea splashed on the floor, but she didn't feel it. "Ethan," she whispered, her lips trembling. She grabbed her shawl and ran out into the rain barefoot, hailing a taxi with shaking hands. She didn't care about her soaked clothes or the curious stares. She only wanted to reach him. When she got to the hospital, the crowd was thick. Reporters flashed cameras, calling his name. She pushed her way in, breathless. "Please," she told the nurse at the desk. "I'm his wife. I need to see Ethan Blake." "Family only," the nurse said flatly. "I am family," Maya cried. "Please, Maya Blake." Before the nurse could respond, a tall, elegant woman in a black coat entered, Ethan's mother. Her eyes met Maya's, cold and full of silent hatred. "Remove this woman," she said sharply. "Mrs. Blake, please," Maya begged. "He needs me." "You've done enough," the older woman snapped. "You won't ruin him again." The guards pulled Maya away as she screamed Ethan's name, but no one listened. She fell to her knees outside in the cold rain, whispering, "Ethan, please wake up. Don't forget me." Inside, machines beeped steadily beside Ethan's unconscious body. In his dreams, a soft voice echoed through the darkness. "Ethan, don't forget me." His heart twitched faintly. Somewhere deep within, her name was written, though he didn't yet know that fate was about to test the strength of love itself. The storm raged on through the night, as if heaven itself wept with her. 6 months later, the sun shone through the hospital window, warm and gentle, as if trying to wake a sleeping soul. For months, doctors said Ethan Blake might never wake up. His mother had prayed publicly for the cameras, but privately, she was relieved. Relieved that time would bury the name Maya. Then one morning, a nurse gasped, "Doctor, he's responding." Ethan's fingers moved. His eyelids fluttered, and with a weak groan, he slowly opened his eyes. Everything was blurry. The ceiling lights, the beeping machines, the faint smell of medicine. Where am I?" he whispered. His mother rushed to his side, eyes wet but face composed. "You're in the hospital, darling. You've been asleep for months." "Months?" He frowned. "What happened?" "You had an accident. But you're safe now." He tried to sit up but winced in pain. A nurse helped him gently. "You're lucky to be alive, Mr. Blake," the doctor said. "We're glad to have you back." But Ethan's mind felt foggy, empty spaces where memories should have been. "What's the last thing you remember?" the doctor asked. "I was at a company event 2 years ago." The doctor exchanged a look with his mother. "Do you remember anything after that?" Ethan shook his head. "No. Should I?" His mother smiled softly, hiding the relief in her eyes. "Don't worry, darling. You'll remember what matters." But what truly mattered was already gone. A few weeks later, Ethan was discharged and taken home to recover. Everyone celebrated his return. Friends brought flowers. The media called him the miracle billionaire. And his fiancée, Clara, never left his side. Still, something felt wrong. He couldn't explain it, but deep down he felt empty. Every night, he had the same dream. A woman's laughter, soft and musical, and a pair of gentle brown eyes full of love. Then a whisper, "Don't forget me, Ethan." He'd wake up sweating, clutching his chest. "Who are you?" he'd whisper. "Why do I feel like I'm missing you?" Across the city, Maya sat in a small, dimly lit room. Her life had fallen apart after the accident. She'd lost her job, her savings, and the only man she'd ever loved. When she heard he had woken up, her heart leaped until she saw the news. Ethan beside Clara, smiling weakly for cameras. He looked alive, but empty. "He doesn't remember me," she whispered. "He doesn't even know I exist." Still, she couldn't stay away. Love, or maybe hope, refused to die. So she made a plan. If she couldn't be his wife anymore, she would be near him another way. She applied for a job as a private nurse under a false name, Anna Moore. When the agency assigned her to the Blake mansion, her hands trembled. "This is my only chance," she whispered. The mansion felt cold when she arrived. The gates opened slowly, revealing the home she once lived in. Memories rushed back, the laughter, the promises, the love. Now she walked those same halls as a stranger. When she stepped into Ethan's room, he was sitting by the window, reading quietly. His skin was pale, a faint scar on his temple. He looked up. Their eyes met and time froze. "Have we met before?" he asked softly. Maya's breath caught. She forced a smile. "No, sir. I'm your new nurse." Ethan studied her face. "You look familiar." Maya turned quickly toward the table, pretending to fix his medicine tray. "Just coincidence, sir." But Ethan couldn't shake the feeling. Something about her voice, her eyes, tugged at his soul. When she left the room, he whispered, "Who are you?" And down the hallway, Maya pressed her hand to her heart. He doesn't remember, but maybe his heart still does. The morning sun poured gently into Ethan's room, casting golden light across the curtains. He sat by the window, watching the garden below, though his thoughts were elsewhere. Something about the new nurse disturbed him, not badly, but deeply. It was like hearing a melody you once loved but couldn't recall. When Maya, or Anna, as everyone knew her, walked in with his breakfast, Ethan looked up. Silence filled the air. Her presence brought him calm. "Good morning, sir," she said softly. "You came early today." "It's part of my duty," she replied, forcing a smile. He studied her face. There was something gentle and sad in her eyes. "You have the kind of eyes that make people trust you," he said suddenly. Maya's hand froze. "Do I?" "Yes," he murmured. "It's strange. I feel like I've seen them before. Maybe in a dream." Her chest tightened. She turned away. "Dreams are funny things, sir. Sometimes they're just memories pretending to come back." He smiled faintly. "That's poetic. Are you always this thoughtful?" "Not always," she said softly. Just when I'm trying to forget something. Ethan chuckled lightly, his gaze lingering on her calm movements. When she left the room, he found himself still staring at the door. Over the next few days, Maya cared for him with quiet devotion, warm meals, timely medicine, and gentle patience. But every smile she gave carried hidden pain, because she was nursing the man who once called her my heart. At night, in her small room, she whispered, "He's close to me but doesn't know me. Maybe love remembers what memory forgets." Ethan's dreams began to change. He'd wake in the night, hearing laughter soft, joyful, and a whisper, "Don't forget me, Ethan." He'd sit up, pressing his head. "Why do I keep hearing that?" he muttered. The next morning, he asked suddenly, "Do you believe in déjà vu?" "I think so," Maya replied. "It's strange. Every time you walk in, I feel like I've lived this moment before." "Maybe," she said gently, "your heart remembers things your mind has lost." Their eyes met, and the world fell silent. Just then, Clara entered, her perfume announcing her first. Elegant, confident, and cold. "You must be the new nurse," Clara said coolly. "Yes, ma'am," Maya bowed. "Well, keep your distance. Mr. Blake needs rest, not distractions." Ethan frowned. "Clara, that's enough. I'm only protecting you," she said sweetly. After she left, Ethan sighed. "She's not always like that." "It's fine, sir," Maya said sadly. "I'm used to being invisible." He looked at her for a long moment. "You shouldn't be invisible," he said quietly. "People like you, they make the world softer." Her heart swelled. "Thank you, sir." When she walked out, a tear escaped her eye. "If only you remembered how much you once said that." And back in his room, Ethan whispered, "Why do I feel like I already love you?" The wind blew softly through the open window, carrying a whisper of the past neither of them could name. The mansion was quiet that afternoon. A gentle breeze drifted through the open windows, carrying the soft scent of fresh roses from the garden. Maya moved silently through the hallways, her heart heavy with memories. Every corner of this house once held laughter, warmth, and love. Now it only echoed with silence. She was assigned to clean Ethan's study, that day the same room where he once kissed her on their secret wedding night, and whispered, "You're my home, Maya." Her hands trembled as she dusted the shelves filled with books, framed photos, and expensive awards. Then her eyes caught something, a small wooden box hidden behind a picture frame. She froze. That box looked familiar. She reached for it carefully, her heart racing. When she opened it, her breath caught in her throat. Inside lay their wedding ring. The simple gold band gleamed faintly in the sunlight, the same one Ethan had slipped onto her finger in a quiet garden 2 years ago when he'd promised her forever. Her vision blurred with tears. "You told me no power on earth would take me from you," she whispered shakily. "But here I am, standing like a stranger in your world." A single tear dropped onto the ring. Just then, the door opened. Ethan stepped in, wearing a white shirt and a look of mild surprise. "Anna? What are you doing here?" I was just cleaning, sir," she stammered, quickly trying to hide the box. "What's that?" he asked, stepping closer. Before she could answer, he gently took the box from her hands. His eyes fell on the ring. He frowned deeply, lifting it into the light. "Strange. This looks like a man's wedding ring. Maybe it belonged to someone who worked here before," Maya murmured, her voice trembling. "No," he said slowly, turning the ring in his fingers. "There's something about it. Feels familiar." He studied the engraving inside, E and M always. His chest tightened. "E and M," he whispered. "What do you think it means?" Maya's throat closed up. She couldn't speak. Before she could find words, the door opened again. Clara stood at the entrance, her heels clicking against the marble floor. Her red lips curved into a small, controlled smile. "Ethan, darling, there you are." "Oh, what's that?" she asked sweetly, eyeing the ring. "I found it in here," Ethan said. "Do you know anything about it?" "That old thing?" Clara laughed lightly. "Probably belonged to a maid or one of the workers who used to live here. You should throw it away." Ethan hesitated, still staring at the ring. It feels important somehow. It's just junk, Ethan, Clara insisted, sliding her arm through his. Come downstairs. Mother's here for tea. Maya stood quietly, her face turned away, trying not to break. As Ethan walked toward the door, he stopped for a moment. His eyes went back to Maya, who stood frozen by the desk. For a reason he couldn't explain, her sad eyes hurt him deeply. You okay? He asked softly. Yes, sir, she whispered, forcing a smile. Just tired. He gave a slow nod, pocketing the ring. I'll keep it for now, he said. Then he left with Clara, the door closing behind them. Maya waited until the footsteps faded. Her knees gave way, and she sank to the floor, pressing her hand over her mouth to hold back the sobs. The ring their love was now in his pocket, but not in his heart. He's wearing our memories, she whispered through tears. And he doesn't even know. Outside, thunder rumbled faintly in the distance, as if the sky itself shared her grief. Meanwhile, in his room, Ethan sat quietly, turning the ring over and over in his palm. Something deep within him stirred an ache he couldn't explain. E&M, he murmured again, staring into nothing. Why does that feel like a promise? Ethan hadn't been sleeping well for days. Each night, strange dreams haunted him, flashes of laughter, a woman's voice calling his name, soft hands on his face. But her face was always hidden by light. He'd wake up sweating, heart pounding. The dreams felt too real. One morning, after another restless night, he stood before the mirror, staring at his reflection, rich, successful, but empty. He opened a drawer and took out the ring he'd found, tracing the engraving E&M always. Who are you, M? He murmured. Why can't I remember? Later that day, Ethan told his driver to take him into the city. Clara frowned. Ethan, you should rest. I just need some air, he said simply. The car stopped at a small diner on Maple Street. Mimi's kitchen. Something about it tugged at him. Inside, the smell of fried plantains and coffee filled the air. An elderly woman behind the counter looked up, surprised. Good afternoon, Ethan greeted. I don't know why, but I feel like I've been here before. The woman smiled. You sure have. You used to come here every evening with a sweet young lady. What was her name again? Ethan's breath caught. A lady. Oh yes, she said. She worked here once, quiet, always smiling. Ethan's pulse quickened. Do you remember her name? The woman thought, then nodded. Yes, Maya. The name hit him like lightning. Maya, he whispered. Flashes of laughter and vanilla scent filled his mind. Do you have a picture of her? The woman pointed to a wall of photos. Ethan scanned them until he froze. There, he and Maya, smiling over coffee, his arm around her. That's me, he whispered. The woman smiled. You two were lovely together, always talking about dreams. Ethan's voice shook. Why can't I remember her? Sometimes, she said gently. The heart remembers what the mind forgets. That night, Ethan sat in his car, staring at the photo he'd borrowed. Maya, were you the one I promised forever to? At home, he showed it to his mother. Who is this woman? Her face stiffened. Just someone who worked here. Nothing serious. Ethan frowned. Then why does her name make my heart ache? His mother sighed. Some people don't belong in our world. Ethan looked down at the ring. Then why does it feel like she was my world? That night, he whispered before sleep, Maya. And for the first time, he saw her face clearly. The next morning, Ethan couldn't rest. The photo from the diner wouldn't leave his mind. That smile, those eyes, Maya. He went through old files, phone records, even his emails, but there was nothing. It was as if someone had erased her completely from his life. He felt betrayed, confused, and desperate for answers. When he went downstairs that afternoon, he found Clara standing near the staircase, her tone sharp as she spoke to Maya. You've been stealing, haven't you? Clara snapped, waving a bracelet. No, ma'am, Maya said quietly, trembling. I'd never do that. Don't lie to me, Clara shouted. You're dismissed effective immediately. Ethan paused, watching the scene unfold. Something inside him flared anger, protectiveness, confusion. "Clara, that's enough," he said coldly. "Ethan, she's been stealing." Clara protested. "Did you see her do it?" "No, but—" "Then don't accuse her," he cut in firmly. Clara's face turned red. She stormed off, heels clacking angrily against the marble floor. Ethan turned to Maya. "You're Maya, aren't you?" The words hit her like lightning. Her heart stopped. What did you say?" "Your name," he said slowly. "Maya. That's who you are, isn't it?" Her lips trembled. She couldn't lie anymore. She nodded, tears already forming. Ethan's chest tightened. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because you forgot me," she whispered, her voice shaking. "You forgot everything we had." He stared at her, speechless. "We had something?" he asked, his voice low. Maya swallowed hard. Then she reached into her pocket and pulled out a small, worn photograph, the same one he'd seen at the diner. She handed it to him with trembling hands. "That's us, Ethan," she said softly. "You loved me once. You married me in secret. You said you didn't care about class or money." Ethan's heart pounded as he stared at the photo. He remembered that smile, that night, that promise. "We were married?" Maya nodded. "2 years ago, before the accident. Your mother made me leave when you were in the hospital. She told me I didn't belong." Tears rolled down her cheeks, but her voice stayed gentle. "I didn't come back for pity. I just wanted to see if you were okay. I knew you might never remember me, but I had to know." Ethan's voice broke. "Why didn't anyone tell me?" "Because they didn't want you to remember me," she said quietly. He took a slow step toward her. "I'm remembering, Maya. Slowly. But I am." Maya shook her head. "It's too late, Ethan. You have your life back. You have Clara. You don't need me anymore." He reached out, catching her hand before she could turn away. "Don't say that," he said hoarsely. "I don't know everything yet, but I know my heart beats differently when you're near." Her tears fell freely now, and she whispered, "Then remember me, Ethan. Remember what we were before the world took it away." Ethan couldn't sleep that night. The truth replayed in his mind, every word Maya said, every tear that fell. He sat in his dark room, holding the ring again, the one he now knew was theirs. He traced the engraving with his thumb, E&M. Always. The memories began to rise like waves breaking through a dam. He saw her face, her laughter, the night they stood in a small garden, exchanging vows under the stars. "Even if the world forgets us," she had whispered, "promise me you won't." "I'll never forget," he had replied. But he had, and the pain of that realization tore through him. By morning, Ethan's mind was clear. He went straight to his mother's sitting room. "Why did you lie to me?" he demanded. "Ethan, please. You hid my wife from me." His mother's calm mask faltered. "That girl would have destroyed your future," she said sharply. "She's not one of us." "She was my heart," Ethan said quietly. "And you broke it for me." He turned and left before she could reply. He found Maya in her small apartment that evening, packing her things. Her face was pale, her eyes red from crying. "You shouldn't be here," she whispered. "I should have never let you go," he replied. She turned away. "Don't make this harder, Ethan. You have a life I don't belong in." He stepped closer, his voice trembling. "You belong with me. My memories are coming back, Maya. I remember the garden, the vows, your smile. I remember what love felt like." Tears filled her eyes again. "You're only saying that because you feel guilty." "No," he said softly. "I'm saying it because I finally remember what happiness is, and it's you." Maya covered her mouth, sobbing quietly. Ethan took her hand gently. "Give me another chance to love you, not out of pity, but because I can't live another day pretending I don't know who my heart belongs to." Her tears fell faster, but this time, she didn't pull away. For the first time in years, she let him hold her, and in his arms, everything broken began to heal. A week later, the mansion looked different, brighter, warmer. The walls that once held silence now carried the sound of laughter and soft music. Maya stood at the edge of the garden, confused by the soft lights and the rose petals scattered along the path. The air smelled of jasmine and new beginnings. "Why did you bring me here?" she asked softly. Ethan smiled, dressed in a black suit that shimmered faintly under the lights. "Because this is where I first promised to love you, and tonight, I'm making that promise again." Maya's eyes widened. "Ethan." He took her hand gently and led her beneath the same archway where, 2 years ago, they had exchanged secret vows. But this time the place was filled with people. Friends, workers, and even his mother, who watched silently from a distance. "I remembered everything," Ethan said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "The laughter, the late-night talks, the way you believed in me when no one else did. I forgot you once, Maya, but I swear, I'll never forget you again." Tears filled her eyes as she whispered, "You don't have to do this in front of everyone." "I want to," he replied softly. "I hid my love for you once. Never again." He dropped to one knee, holding the same golden ring, the one that had found its way back to him through fate. "Maya Blake," he said with a trembling smile, "will you let me spend the rest of my life remembering our love? Not in secret, but for the world to see." The crowd went silent. Maya covered her mouth, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Yes," she whispered, her voice breaking. "1,000 times yes." Ethan slipped the ring on her finger, and the garden erupted in applause. His mother looked away, wiping a quiet tear, maybe for the first time. She understood what real love meant. Ethan pulled Maya close and whispered, "I may have forgotten you once, but I'll spend forever proving I never will again." Under the glow of the stars, they kissed not as strangers bound by memory, but as two souls who had found each other twice in one lifetime. We've come to the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting stories.